He went for it. He tried. He got denied. And unfortunately now Zakai Zeigler has ended his pursuit of a fifth year at Tennessee, and he will instead play Summer League with the Detroit Pistons. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports channel. Make sure you hit the like, the share, the subscribe. It is free for that. Not to me a surprise. Now, all this house settlement, everything going into it along the way, it's kind of recap where we're at here along the way. House settlement was said to be going in sometime this summer. It was passed. It has affected numerous sports with roster sizes. But one thing, and I was consistent with this the whole time, and I had numerous people trying to tell me otherwise in the comments. At no point was it put in that this past class, this past graduating or out of eligibility class would get a fifth year. At no point did it. At no point did the judge say these players would get a fifth year. There was the term grandfathered mentioned. It was not in regard to players. It was in regard to scholarships. And people are still trying to figure out what that means in certain sports like baseball, for example. What does that mean? Based on everything with baseball, it seems like 34 is the hard roster cap. Basketball is now at 15 on it. So Tennessee could withstand to add more players. But the one thing about it was the big talk was, could Tennessee get back Zakai Zeigler, Jordan Gainey, and, I wondered about Meshack and even Igor Milicic as well. And would I have taken them back? Absolutely. But they played their 4 years on it. Seen where Jordan Gainey, people said, well, he played a year at prep school. He still played 4 years of college. That's his choice to go to prep school on it. I don't see how you have an argument based on that. But we can officially put it all to bed now. Zeigler, based on what I've read, he's still pursuing the lawsuit on it, which I'm kind of a little bit confused on. But he's not pursuing the fifth year. He has, again, decided he'll play with the Detroit Pistons. So there's a pretty good chance he and Chaz Lanier will be teammates again this summer. Could be pretty cool. Maybe it'll lead to an opportunity for Zeigler. I really hope it does. But you look at that. Jordan Gainey will play this summer with the Phoenix Suns. Igor Milicic has signed, it's called an Exhibit 10 contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. So what it means, apparently, is it's a minimum salary contract, and it allows NBA teams to convert it to a two-way contract before the season. So if the Sixers see what they like this summer out of Milicic, then at that point they can convert it to two-way, where he would play probably most of his time in the G League, but may get some time with the main club as well. Of course, Zakai Zeigler was the last pick of the draft. He got traded to Houston, he got traded, I think it was from Houston to Memphis. So he'll more than likely play summer ball as well. And the only guy I've not heard anything about is Darlene Stone-Dubar. I've not seen anything where he's playing anywhere, and I kind of probably would not expect it either. But now we can officially put to rest, and I don't say that with like gleam or nothing like that, or glee, but we can put it to rest now that this Tennessee roster that Rick Barnes has assembled, that's what they're going to have moving forward. And they still have roster spots available. And, if the right guy comes along, but I just don't know who is out there now. But that's not to say some more targets could not pop up between now and then. With all this said, too, some things I've seen, I've read, it's been sent to me. We're going to be pretty happy with, I think, with this team and what they've got. Nate Ament, I think, is going to do some really big things this year. And I've seen it I've read it. I've had some stuff sent to me that says you might see him run some point. And at close to 6'10", 6'11", run the point and run it effectively, can shoot really well. That frees up Jacoby Gillespie to go out a little bit. This team's going to have a lot of flexibility this year. Now, one of the big things, of course, like last year, you have to avoid the injuries on it. But I'm seeing now, if we look at our big guys, Felix Akpara, he's kind of going to be doing what he's done. He's going to be that rim protector. He can get those alley-oops, a little bit of a game, right at the rim. JP Estrella could be a big case of it because it is said he can step out, hit the threes. He can step outside. So Cade Phillips supposedly is going to play some three this year. I'm curious to see that because I think you're at a disadvantage if he doesn't have some kind of an outside shot. He doesn't necessarily have to be a three-pointer, but he's got to be able to knock down an outside shot. If that's not the case, I think that's a pointless move, just to be honest. I know it adds athleticism and height on the wing, but how many times last year did we have three and even at times four people on the floor and only one scoring threat, 1 to 2 scoring threats? Tennessee cannot afford to do that this year. Moving forward with it, and kind of circling back around to some of my points, the 5th year that we've talked about, never was it put in that was going to go in this year. People were hopeful of it. Tennessee basketball, based on what I've read, they were open with Jacoby Gillespie about the possibility of it. They were hoping for it, obviously, but they moved forward as if it was not. They had it in their back pocket, let's put it that way, but they moved forward that these guys wouldn't be back. And now we know it for sure. And again, I don't think there was ever really any doubt, even though it was put out there some, and there's just bad rumors that get started. See so much of it, and it comes here stuff. I've had the bad rumors come on the 5th year, people trying to tell me that these so-called sources are saying it's not. No, I read every bit of it thoroughly on it. Just like with baseball, I had people coming on here telling me Mac and Advincula were heading to LSU. Neither one of them went to LSU. Mac's a Vol, Advincula's a Yellow Jacket, Georgia Tech. It is what it is, but here's where it could. It's still expected that the 5th year thing will eventually get passed. It's not going to be grandfathered. It's not going to backtrack. It would be from that point moving forward. Because, again, you're getting into a whole mess. If you're the NCAA, you pass it moving forward, whether it's sometime this fall, sometime early next year, that it passes. Based on, what I've seen on that, it could affect guys like Jacoby Gillespie, Amari Abram, some guys like that who will be seniors this year, could possibly get them another year also, especially, their draft prospects are not there. I'm not saying these guys don't have draft prospects, but, in that event, moving forward, it could affect some of these guys as well. But, if they passed it now, you go back to this past class, it's almost going to be like baseball. Your portal is going to be loaded with players. Now, what it does with baseball, and just trying to make the comparison between the two, is it's going to trickle down. It's going to make your mid-majors. It's going to make probably your D2. It's going to make your JUCOs that much better because a team like Tennessee, LSU, etc., they can't just go stash players and, hope to build them here in a few years. Now, you've pretty much, these big teams have got to have 34 dudes ready to roll. And with basketball, too, if you would have passed this, because I know Darling Stone Dubar entered the portal. He was not going to come back to Tennessee. He was going to try to enter the portal and go somewhere else. Numerous players around the country hit the portal out of eligibility. So it would have been a mess. It would have been a mess. And, these guys can file lawsuits all day long. They don't have a case, though. And I'll just be honest, I didn't see where Zeigler, Gainey had a case. And they played their 4 years. And nothing was put in during that time based on when they started. That was a year after the COVID years were given. So they just, unfortunately, didn't have a case on it. There's more. I'm going to try to put some more basketball out because there's recruiting news this week. It's too much to fit into one thing now. There's been some pretty cool stuff put on the schedule for this upcoming season. I'll put something out on that tomorrow, kind of give today a little bit to fester. I am going to record right after this, after I get this upload, and we'll put a baseball video out here in just a little bit as well. There is some names who've popped up, and of course the portal did close last night, so I'll talk about that as well. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'm having trouble keeping up my days right now. Frank, House of Orange, I'll see you when I see you.